most Republicans backed and Democrats said was a waste of time. The division demonstrated that efforts to get a bipartisan agreement and avoid the fiscal cliff are stuck in stalemate.
The House will be in order.
House Republicans pushed their so-called Plan B despite a veto threat from the White House and the strong opposition of Senate Democrats. Speaker John Boehner insisted the president had left him with no alternative.
And for weeks, the White House said that if I moved on rates, that they would make substantial concessions on spending cuts and entitlement reforms. I did my part. They've done nothing.
The public sniping continued. At the White House, Press Secretary Jay Carney fired back that the president had shown more of a willingness to compromise than Republicans.
He never said, either in private or in public, that this was his final offer. He understands that to reach a deal it would require some further negotiation. There is not much further he could go because, after all, unlike his counterparts in this negotiation, he has already gone halfway on both sides of the equation.
The president would raise tax rates on households making at least $400,000 a year. By contrast, Boehner's Plan B pegs that threshold at $1 million a year. It also drops the $1,000 child tax credit for families who don't earn enough to pay federal income taxes. And it would let an expansion of the college tuition tax credit expire. Republicans argued that both those provisions were to have been temporary anyway, under the president's original stimulus package. Initially, Boehner's plan did nothing to stop across-the-board spending cuts that take effect in the new year under the fiscal cliff's mandates. But today, Republican leaders offered a companion bill to replace $55 billion in automatic cuts to defense spending. Those would be swapped out for additional reductions in domestic programs. House Majority Leader Eric Cantor predicted both measures would pass.
We hope that the Senate will take this bill up along with the Spending Reduction Act and get the job done in lieu of or absent any kind of agreement coming from the White House.
Some Republican members, though, such as Tim Huelskamp of Kansas, still had strong objections.
Well, I do not support Plan B. Apparently it was amended late last night. I still do not support it. The point being is there's a pretty big tax increase still in there, and it's always been a long principle of mine, as well as most in the Republican Party, that we don't raise taxes, that we look at the spending side.
But when floor debate began this afternoon, the leadership lined up Republicans who supported the measure.
Mr. Speaker, this is the right medicine for 99.8% of Americans to prevent them from seeing their taxes go up on January 1st. And it gives us an opportunity in the next session of Congress to provide comprehensive tax reform that will simplify our tax code.
On the other side of the aisle, Democrats like Gary Peters of Michigan said the fine print in the GOP plan does real harm.
Christmas is a season of giving, but sadly Republicans are taking food off the table from millions of American families that are struggling in these tough economic times by cutting food assistance by $36 billion, taking the unemployment lifeline away from more than 2 million Americans who are trying to get back on their feet.
And in the Senate, Democratic Majority Leader Harry Reid warned today the Boehner plan is a, quote, non-starter in his chamber.
We are not taking up any of the things that they're working on over there now. It's time for the Republicans to get serious. It's very, very, very unfortunate the Republicans have wasted an entire week on a number of pointless political stunts. And that's what they've been.
As the day wound down then, there appeared to be little prospect for any agreement, at least before Christmas. So